Hello and welcome once again to Murfer's Music Reviews! And on today's show we're talking about ska music. And once again you can also see my brother, The Works, has done a wonderful painting of... Works, where are you? Yeah? What's going on in the painting? Well, that's what you said, it's ska from The Lion King. No, ska music. Oh! Thought it was an odd request. Well, it's a nice painting anyway, but yeah, not exactly what we're after, but thank you. You're welcome. So, yes, it has nothing to do with ska or Disney, although the laserdisc that they've put behind me is also, you just can't get the help these days. Anyway, that should be a good cue for our sponsorship announcement. Murfer's Music Reviews is sponsored by Home for the LD Lee for all your Laserdisc needs. And as you can see behind me, I have got Aladdin, a Disney film. Disney have decided that they're no longer going to be making physical media anymore. They want to focus on their streaming service so they can rip people off by having them pay a monthly fee rather than buying something once and watching it whenever they like. So, if you don't like that idea and would rather just own your films, then Laserdisc is a great way to get certainly all the Disney classics, and I think it's just a great format in general. So, yes, go to Home for the LD Lee. They've got lots of bargains there, lots of really cool stuff, lots of stuff that's very hard to find. Lots of companies, unfortunately, much like Disney, have decided to no longer do physical media, so it's often the only way you can actually see these things. So, yes, Home for the LD Lee. Now, ska music originated in Jamaica with the likes of Stranger Cole, Prince Buster,
like that lucky old sun, give me nothing to do but roll around heaven all day. So don't you hear me?
and Desmond Dekker.
Get up in the morning, slaving for bread, sir, so that every mouth can be fed. Oh, me Israelite.
And because of the Windrush generation, a lot of Jamaicans immigrated to England with the promise of jobs and things like that. So that they did. And this led to a lot of Jamaican immigrants being in England and bringing the music with them. And it obviously appealed to the young people because it was fun music that they could dance to. We've already previously talked about Millie Small, and the Equals, who were both very big in England.
Come back, baby, don't you leave me. Baby, baby, please don't go. Oh, won't you give me a second chance? Baby, I love you so. Oh, yeah. Oh, again. Oh, yeah, come back. I said, baby, come back. I said, baby, come back. I want you to come back.
As indeed were Prince Buster and Desmond Dekker. In fact, Desmond Dekker was the one who inspired Paul McCartney to write Obladi Oblada.
Hey, happy ever after in the marketplace. Only less the children lend a hand. Desmond stays at home and does his pretty face, and in the evening she's a singer with the band. Yeah, Obladi, Oblada, life goes on. La la, how the life goes on.
I don't know if that's why the character in it is called Desmond, but I think we can assume that it is. As for the Molly, I'm not really sure. I did hear a rumour somewhere that it was the Australian music journalist Molly Meldrum was where he got the name for that. But that's never been confirmed by anybody, so yeah, I don't think that's actually true, but it is nice to think of it as that. But yeah, I don't think it's true. Now, these Jamaicans that brought ska to England were known as rude boys, which is kind of just a fashion sense and general sort of way of being. And yeah, it became popular and it inspired the mod look that was quite popular at that time. And it also inspired the first generation of skinheads. Obviously, people think now of skinheads as being these racist types, which a lot of them are now. But the original skinheads were actually, basically, got into that subculture because of their interest in ska music and in Jamaican culture. And it was actually a very sort of integrated type thing to begin with. It was only once it got into the 80s, 70s and 80s that people like the National Front got involved and really kind of corrupted that whole scene. So, yeah, they kind of ruined it for everything, as conservatives usually do. So ska music was quite popular in the 60s, and then it kind of died out until the late 70s, early 80s, when we get the second wave of ska music, with bands like The Specials, The Selector, The Beat, or the English Beat if you're American, and perhaps the biggest of them, Madness. But before we get to Madness, I just wanted to bring up something about the Beat, or English Beat, or specifically their logo, the Rude Girl, is a picture of Bridget Bond. She was a trans woman and a singer who was somewhat successful in England. There was a picture of her dancing with Prince Buster, and the members of the English Beat liked that picture a lot, so they sort of did a drawing of it, and that became their logo. So the defining image of what a rude girl is actually a trans woman. So yeah, a nice bit of a representation there. She also would perform a lot at the Two Eyes coffee shop, which was quite an important part of the British music scene at the time, in the 50s and 60s. Pretty much everyone went there. It was kind of a place where the people like David Bowie and Mark Bolan and Elton John would all hang out before they made it big, so that they could see people like we mentioned last week, Screaming Lord Sutch used to perform there. And yeah, lots of other sort of Vince Taylor, who was someone who we should probably do a thing about at some point, because he's very interesting. But yes, lots of really cool people played there, and lots of cool people hung out there. And yeah, it's a whole scene that we should probably get into in another video, because it's not really relevant here, other than this. Now, Madness are a great band. They formed in London in the late 70s. They had a few different lineups in those early years, but they eventually settled on Chrissy Boy Foreman on guitar, Mike Barson, or Monsieur Barso, on the piano, Lee Tomo Thompson on saxophone, Graham Suggs McPherson on vocals, Dan Woody Woodgate on drums, and Cathal, or Carl, he goes by both, Smythe, also known as Chaz Smash, who was a dancer slash trombone player slash occasional singer. Now, Madness are fairly unique within the ska scene in that they are all white. Most of these bands were a mixture of different races, but they ended up being an all-white band. But that doesn't mean that they were all white power like some of the later skinheads would become. But they sort of got tarred with that because of a lot of their fans being into that kind of thing, but they themselves were not that at all. In fact, one of their singles, Embarrassment, was about a mixed-race child being born and the racist parents' reaction to it. Although in reality they... Well, let's just cut to this clip.
My mum was that embarrassment. She was white, my dad was black, and she was pregnant with me. My Uncle Lee is the madcap saxophonist from Madness, and he wrote the lyrics to the song. This top 10 hit was about how my uncle felt about the family's reaction to my mother's pregnancy. The lyrics of the song Embarrassment.
Yeah.
Pretty strong stuff. You're a disgrace to the human race.
Yeah, that was a bit harsh, wasn't it? It had to hit home, particularly in the area that I lived. Some of the reactions and attitudes to mixed race wasn't nice at all. And fortunately, I was in a position to have my pop back, which was with Embarrassment.
Well, Uncle Lee felt that he was a little bit brutal with the lyrics. What do you think?
I think he wrote what more than likely my mum and dad were thinking.
Our mum, she don't want to know. She says, I'm feeling twice as old. She said,
My mum was a bit of, yes, Mrs. Bouquet. She would worry about what the neighbours
Definitely,
think.
definitely.
what will the neighbours think? They'll think
But after I was born, any embarrassment soon faded.
I had an aunt who couldn't have children who wanted to adopt you. And Nanny and Grandad wanted to bring you up. They absolutely adored you. But I didn't want none of it. I wanted to bring up my own baby.
So when I hear the song Embarrassment, all the time I'll shout, this is my song. It's about me. How do you feel about it now?
If I could turn back time, I'd spend more time on the lyrics and not be so harsh on my family. But in no way am I embarrassed about writing Embarrassment, or do I have any regrets.
And same here. I feel proud of it. The lyrics are true.
So yeah, that story did sort of have a happy ending, but at the time it was quite a controversial thing. So, yeah. The Madness have had a very long career. In fact, they're still going today, with most of the original lineup, except Chaz has gone off to do his own thing. But yeah, it's basically the same band and has been for the majority of their career.
I'll be your promotional copy in this here #1 band. Take your business beyond your father's street. Says really great. Wait, we must hurry now. Time is catching up, and it looks like the musical race has come up.
They've done a lot of things we could talk about, but I think we'll just talk about the first album, as that was on the Banana 100, and when we covered it there, I wanted to go through it in detail, so, yeah, we're going to do that. Now, Madness got their name from the previously mentioned Prince Buster. He had a song called Madness, and that is on this album, but we'll get to that later, because another one of his songs opens the album and also gives the album its title, One Step Beyond. This is mostly an instrumental song, but yeah, I think it's a lot of fun and a great way to start the album. And then we have My Girl, which is one of probably their biggest hits. Great little pop song with that sort of ska beat to it, and yeah, a lot of fun too.
My girl's mad at me. I didn't want to see the film tonight. I found it hard to say. She thought I'd had enough of her. Why can't she see? She's lovely to me, but I like to stay in and watch TV on my own.
After that, we have one of my favourite songs of theirs, Night Boat to Cairo.
It's just gone noon, our past monsoon on the banks of the River Nile. Here comes the boat, only half afloat. Osman grins a toothless smile. Only just one more to this desolate shore. Last boat along the River Nile. Doesn't seem to care, no more wind in his hair as he reaches his last half mile.
And that song sort of brings in a kind of Middle Eastern flavour to the ska rhythms. And after that we have a couple of songs that are pretty good, but I would say kind of forgettable compared to the rest of the album. They are Believe Me and Land of Hype and Glory.
A life without you, my dear, was dull as can be. I'm asking my loved one not to leave me now, not to leave me in misery. Saxophone! As you can see, we've got a new recruit to this land of hope and glory. Hands me with wax and legs apart and tell us all, be unfortunate, the story. Oh, Mika. Yes, you sir. I was an innocent man till someone grasped me of a plan of earning some big money.
After that we have their first single, which is The Prince, which is also another tribute to their hero Prince Buster.
An earthquake is erupting, but not in Orange Street. A ghost dance is preparing. You got to help us with your feet. If you're not in the mood to dance, step back, grab yourself a seat. This may not be uptown Jamaica, but we promise you a treat. Bust the phone me over with your boulder stand, shuffle me off my feet. Even if I kept on running, I'd never get to Orange Street.
And then with a name like Madness, and something you will notice from the clips we've been playing, Madness is certainly well known for making funny music videos and generally having a good sense of humour. And so then we have Tarzan's Nuts. Side 2 opens up with In the Middle of the Night, which I guess makes sense because it's essentially the middle of the album.
He whistles timeless tunes as he saunters down the street. Springs in his legs and elastic in his feet. But in the middle of the night, he steals through your garden, gives your hosiery a fright, and doesn't say pardon, as soft as a breeze, with an arm full of underwear on his hands and knees. Dreams about the knicker scare.
After that, another hit single with Bed and Breakfast Man.
Oh, there's a man I know, at least I used to years ago. I didn't really mind, he used to come in all the time.
And this is an interesting story song, which sort of tells the story of this guy that comes around to have a bed and breakfast at this guy's house, not rather than someone that's staying at an actual bed and breakfast establishment. And yeah, it's an interesting story, and the video that goes with it. I think that's one of those times when the video really matches the song really well, and I can't hear the song without thinking of the video.
I've heard he's changed a lot since then, but some of his ways he just can't mend.
We then have a bit of a change in style for Razor Blade Alley.
Razor blade alley, I've been there. Razor blade alley, leave a rough kid.
And And that's followed by a ska interpretation of Swan Lake. After that, it's time to rock, specifically rockin' in A flat, which is written as A and then the sign for the flat in music notation. I'm guessing it probably means rocking in A flat, as in it's in A flat, but it's also in a flat. I could be wrong about that, but that's how I always interpreted it.
It was the best job I ever had. Until some blokes and their bikes came through. Say, come on down to youth club and see what's new. Well, come on, come on, come on. Let's have some fun tonight.
That song's a lot of fun, and that clip actually comes from their movie, Take It or Leave It. That was a kind of biopic where the band play themselves, and it just kind of tells their early story. You can see the whole thing on YouTube, and I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
In a pub about 7:30, mother makes sure that his face ain't dirty. Him and mother go everywhere, holds her hand without a care.
After another somewhat forgettable song called Mummy's Boy, we have Madness, which is the Prince Buster song that I mentioned earlier, and we actually have a clip of Suggs performing the song with Prince Buster.
Madness, madness, they call it madness. It is madness, man, I know I'm filled with gladness. It's gonna be rougher, rougher, it's going to be tougher. And I won't be the one who's gonna suffer.
And then, much like side one ended with Tarzan's Nuts, we go a bit more comedic for the ending of this album with Chipmunks A Go.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We the chipmunks hear us roar. We the chipmunks hear us roar. Sound of chipmunks. Sound of chipmunks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you have a good time tonight, boys? Yes, we sure did. Do you think the time is right, boys? Yep, we sure do. Sound of chipmunks. Sound of chipmunks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chipmunks shall go!
So yeah, I think it's a great album, although there's a couple of songs I personally find somewhat forgettable. I just think it is a great album, and they're an amazing band, so yeah, go check them out. I give this 3 out of 4 opposable thumbs up.
I'm sorry, son, but we don't stop. Party gimmicks in this shop. Try to have some fun. It's quicker if you run. This is a chemist, not a junkie shop.
Now, something else that's unusual about Madness is that they're from London, whereas a lot of the ska scene came out of Coventry. And this was the home of Two Tone Records, founded by the Specials keyboard player Jerry Dammers. Now, the Specials consisted of Terry Hall, Linval Golding, Neville Staple, the previously mentioned Jerry Dammers, Horace Panther, Body Radiation, John Bradbury, Dick Cuthell, and Rico Rodriguez. Now, the Specials had an amazing career, although it was quite tumultuous. During that album, More Specials, apparently nearly everyone quit at some point and then came back. And then when they had one of their biggest hits, Ghost Town, they performed the song On Top of the Pops, then went back to the dressing room and broke up.
This town is coming like a ghost town. All the clubs are being closed down. This place is coming like a ghost town. Bands won't play no more. Too much fighting on the dance floor.
Some reports say there was actually a fist fight involved, although I've not been able to find actual confirmation of this. But yeah, it's sort of, they kind of made it. They made it to the top. The song actually got to #1 in the UK charts, and yeah, then they broke up. Half of the band continued on as Specials aka, and then you had the Fun Boy 3, which was Terry Hall, Linval Golding and Neville Staple. And we're going to be talking about one of their albums, which was also on the Banana 100, and it was another one that I really wanted to talk about more there, so that's why we're talking about it here. Now, Fun Boy 3 would make 2 albums, but we're going to talk mostly about their first one, which is called FB3, and it starts with Sanctuary. That is followed by Way On Down.
Where do we go to from here? What kind of sound do we follow? Can we discard all our fear of things that may happen tomorrow? Way on down, way on down, way on down, way on
And then we have the song that first brought them to my attention, and I'm guessing to a lot of other people's attention too, with The Lunatics Are Taking Over the Asylum.
I see the faces of starvation, but I just cannot see the point. 'Cause there's so much food here today that no one wants to take away. The lunatics have taken over the asylum. The lunatics have taken over the asylum.
That's followed by Life in General.
The man in the north set his course to do the things that benefits he. For health and fun, he ventures forth with an access card and a Ford Capri.
And then one of the strangest songs on the album, Faith, Hope and Charity.
I see no evil, I see no evil, I see no evil, I see no evil, and hope and charity. What for you and what for me? Money doesn't grow on trees, but babies come from babies.
I'm not really sure how to take that song. It's kind of unusual the way that it sort of goes into that just chanting of money doesn't grow on trees but babies come from ladies thing. It kind of feels like something that you would hear in a school ground, but maybe that's the idea, I'm not sure. I find that song rather perplexing, but nonetheless it's still a lot of fun, and the whole album thus far has been a lot of fun, and that fun continues with Funrama 2. Side 2 starts with Best of Luck, Mate. And then a cover of Tain't What You Do, It's the Way That You Do It, which features Bananarama before they became big stars. After that we have possibly my favourite song on this album, The Telephone Always Rings. followed by Don't Believe It. And the album closes with Alone. I think this is a great album. Like I said, it's got a few really great memorable moments on it. There's a few bits that I just kind of okay, but for the most part I'd say it's a great album, and so it's getting the 3 out of 4 opposable thumbs up. Fun Boy 3 opposable thumbs up. Now on this album they played most of the instruments themselves, but for the next one they employed a whole backing band. They specifically went with all female musicians because they thought that female musicians weren't represented enough in music. So this one's produced by David Byrne from the Talking Heads, and it had a few more hits on it, including Our Lips Are Sealed, which you probably know more for the version by the Go-Go's. They did co-write it with the members of the Go-Go's, so both bands released their own versions of it, and I guess unfortunately for Fun Boy 3, the Go-Go's version was the bigger hit. I don't know which I prefer. I think both are pretty good.
Can you hear them talking about us, telling lies? Is that a surprise? Can you see them, see right through them? They have a shield, nothing must be revealed. It doesn't matter what they say. No one listens anyway. Our lips are sealed.
This album also included The More I See, The Less I Believe.
The more that I see, the less I believe. The barbed wire fences have replaced all the trees. The houses of God are full of sinners every week, praying for forgiveness for those they lead to bleed. And they keep telling me it's not my concern. But when petrol bombs fly, when cars overturn, when you see children cry because their cities are burning, who's gonna show concern?
And Tunnel of Love.
Walk through the fields where the flowers are growing. Carve out your names on the first tree you see. There are 22 catches when you strike your matches. Get down on your knees in the tunnel of love. The tunnel of love. You fall in fever. In the tunnel of love. You think of yourselves as really good friends, but you know how it always ends in the tunnel of love.
And the Specials would reunite in the 2000s. Unfortunately, Terry Hall passed away a few years ago, so I'm not sure what they're doing now. But that's might be the rather sad ending to a band that brought a lot of joy into the world. But I don't want to leave it on that note. So here's a clip of them performing with someone that was a big fan of theirs, and also a fellow Banana 100 list alumni, with Amy Winehouse.
You're wondering now what to do. Now you know this is the end. You're wondering how you will pay for the way you misbehave. Curtain was fallen, and now you're on your own. I won't return.
So ska music is a very upbeat sounding, happy type of music, but it could also be very political and also very sort of serious and tell a lot of stories, but get it across in a sort of more upbeat kind of way. And so perhaps it could make those points a bit better than something that, you know, if a song sounds depressing, then maybe you're not going to listen to it because it's depressing. But if a song sounds upbeat and happy, you might listen to it 3 or 4 times and then start to realize, oh, hang on, there's something quite serious here. And I think that's a very powerful thing that art can do, and music especially can do. So yeah, I think ska music is incredibly interesting, incredibly important music. So after the second wave of ska, you would get third wave ska, which is in America, where you see bands like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones and No Doubt. In fact, Gwen Stefani from No Doubt, or now as a solo artist, has said that Suggs is the reason that she became a singer. So, yeah, you can certainly see the influence of this particular genre continue to this very day. And, yeah, I think it's a great genre. You should go check it out. You should certainly check out the artists we've mentioned, and even the ones we haven't mentioned, because there are a lot of them. So yeah, I think that's it for this week's episode of Murphy's Music Reviews. Don't forget we have a TeePublic store. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the Home for the LD Lee. Please leave a comment. If you like the video, tell us what we're doing well. If you don't like the video, tell us what we're doing badly. If you don't care, then maybe just tell us something about your favorite chocolate bar. Yeah, that's a good one. You can't get dirty with that one, I don't think. So, yes, thank you for watching. I am the Murfer. This has been Murphers Music Reviews!
This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end.